Hello, it's Common. Let's get into the nitty gritty. And obviously, I'm tired of hearing people talk about brown people. Obviously, they're ruining the blood of our nation. They're rapists. They're criminals. They're bringing drugs over. This is all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors to make white people feel good about themselves. But what I'm going to tell you is the truth. You know what the biggest threat to our country is? It's LeCracker. Those are the biggest threats to this country. I'm not worried about any Mexicans when I walk down the street and I see a group of them, because they typically don't bother anybody because they don't want to get deported. They don't want anybody even knowing they're there. I live around a community that does have Mexicans in there. They are the quietest group of people I've ever come across. Very hard-working group of people, too. But LeCracker will believe, or have you believe, that they are all rapists and murderers. That's not true. LeCracker is. You know where I live at, I have a book that comes out once a year. And it shows like the pedophiles that live in your neighborhood. And when I first got the book, I was like, I didn't realize how many people were pedophiles. I'm talking about this, a book like this thick. And some of these people I knew, the majority of the people were pedophiles? White men. Obviously, you can easily look that up. I forget, there was somebody that put a video out, this white lady, and she had her son. She said, if you ever get lost, who do you look for? He said, I find a big black man and he'll help me get home. Because black people typically don't do that. I'm not saying black people don't, but typically that's an affliction of white people. Who are the most rapists in this country? White people. When you have your job and your 401k has money stolen from it, who is it? Typically white people. I'll give you a little story. I used to work for this company. And in the day, we were a pretty big company. And there was the owners. They took out this loan. They wanted to do some expansion. Well, guess what? They took out this huge loan. I think it was close to $100 million. Not a lot of money now, but back then that was a lot of money. And you know what they did? They kept the money for themselves. And then they bankrupted the business. The bank closed us down because these two gentlemen decided they wanted to keep the money for themselves. Oh, we have the Bernie Madoffs of the world. People giving him billions of dollars and losing everything. Who is that? LeCracker? Or my Mexican buddy? Pedro. Pedro ain't got no power like that. He's not stealing your money. You're worried about calling somebody some rapist and bringing drugs in this country. Bringing the most drugs in this country? White people. Look it up. Fentanyl. The biggest, I forget his name now. I should have wrote it down in my little notes, but I didn't. He is the biggest fentanyl drug dealer in the U.S. He's a white dude. You guys are so petty. And you want to think that you're better than everybody else and you're the master race. And not saying some of you aren't smart, but you got good and bad in every race. So don't sit there and make it out like one group is bad and this group is good. Because I can point out so many white people in this country that have done foul shit throughout the making of this land. From the slave owners to people that didn't want to pay. Our boy Donald Trump, who used to get contractors to work for him at his casinos, stiff them. That's LeCracker. The person that sets you up with a 401k, and then they steal all the money, and then you're left holding the bag. That's LeCracker. I forget the guy's name, even though it'll come to me in a second. He was on show The Breakfast Club. I forget, but he became some stockbroker. And he was telling the story about when he was in jail and how much jail time he did. And he said there was a white guy that he met in jail. And he was saying, I bet you did some petty crime to the black guy. And the black guy said, yeah, I did this and that. And he said, well, I stole $5 million from the bank. I had to do some jail time, but I had to give $250,000 back. Does that equate to anything? You stole $5 million from the, damn, the Wall Street Trapper. That's his name. And he's telling the story. And the thing is, this guy stole $5 million. He had to pay a $250,000 fine, and he did a couple years in jail, and he was let go, and he still had the rest of the money. You guys are worried about the wrong people. The people that are taking the most, like Elon Musk. I hear some of you farmers out there now, and the one lady I heard on YouTube, she said she might lose her farm because all the Mexican workers that she had aren't showing up because they're afraid to be deported, and she's saying how good of people they are, and they're great workers, but you voted for Trump anyways. You just fucked yourself. You knew these people were decent people. You couldn't get yourself to vote for Kamala. I don't know what reason. She's a woman. She's a black woman. She's a biracial woman. I don't know your excuse. But she is a better human being than that piece of shit will ever be. But you voted against your interest and those people that were working for you that you knew they were decent. You should have stood up for them. That's the thing with the U.S. We are supposed to help people that are in need and weak. When we've gone to war to help other countries, it's because they were weak. We are helping Ukraine, maybe not with soldiers, but we're helping them with money and equipment because Russia is so much bigger than they are. And Russia's the bully. And we help out small people. But you couldn't help out that worker. You are an LeCracker. You are the type of people that are fucking this country up because you can't see past your own interest. An injustice for one is an injustice for all. Now, some of you just go fuck yourself because you fucked other people and you knew better. And on that note, learn more so you can do better.